What really went wrong for Dave Allen and Anthony Joshua versus Arsenal bet Makmudov is an absolute mismatch. Um, Look, talking about Dave Allen versus Arsenal bet Makmudov, you know, what went wrong? And I think, look, we all like Dave Allen. There's no one who really dislikes Dave Allen at all. Everyone's a Dave Allen fan, and being a Dave Allen fan, it's very frustrating to watch him fight. He's entertaining, but he's very frustrating because of his style and how well we always want him to do. Um, he's never been a volume puncher, never been a volume puncher, and the guy let his hands go in that fight. That ninth round, I believe it was, especially that he let his hands go, and Medvedev's chin was very good at being able to hold up. You know, I don't think there's loads more he could have done based off the Dave Allen style. There's not loads more he could have done. He threw the kitchen sink at it in the end, and he was constantly pressuring throughout the fight. You know, it's easy to say now, but you never know. Things he could have done better was follow up on the uppercut because we didn't see enough of that at all. When he was landing flush uppercuts, there was no follow up. And I said this in my actual review of the fight as well. When Dave Allen threw that nice overhand right, there was no follow up of a hook to the body, which would have been the perfect shot to follow up after that right overhand upstairs. It would have been the perfect shot, but we didn't see it. We didn't see it. I just don't think Allen had the boxing brain to be able to do it, and that was the problem. But overall, I don't think it's a matter of it was a very bad performance from him because I don't think it was. I thought he did what he could. I thought he did. I thought Dave Allen did well, but I think that Midov just showed he's a bit of a different level to Dave Allen. You know, Midov was just good at being able to use his height and his reach well. I think they're the things that won Midov the fight. Allen, I think, his high guard's very effective, and I thought his pressure was good at being able to, not let Makmudov get full extension in the shots and was going to be able to tire out Arsenal and Makmudov. That was good. But Makmudov hits hard and Allen was feeling it on the gloves. Makmudov was still being able to get through the gloves of Dave Allen quite a lot in that fight. Yeah, like the commentators were saying, we've seen upper body movement from Dave Allen many times before. Well, we know he can do it, but it's just something he didn't do. It's something he just didn't show. And as we're saying, it's frustrating because we know what he can do. We've seen him do things before. And right now is the best we've seen Dave Allen ever look in his career. We're finally, unlocking that potential. That's what he's unlocking, that potential that many people knew that he's had. But I still don't think we've got the full package of Dave Allen, and I don't think we ever will. I don't think we ever will. He's never been a world level heavyweight, but he's always been entertaining. He's always been a fan favorite. He's always been a people's champion. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I don't think it's a matter of loads went wrong though. It's just just didn't have the style for it. Makmudov just had those genetically gifted attributes, which was very key of helping him win the fight. And Allen could have dealt with it, but again, there are follow-ups that he could have, should have done. And I think if he looks back at it, he probably knows that because we all saw it. It was obvious, and he will certainly know because he is the main guy that knows what he can do. Jamie Moore knows what he can do, and I think they'd be frustrated watching that fight back, thinking, "What's the follow-up on that uppercut?" You know, Makmudov wasn't adjusting for when Dave Allen was getting success. Dave Allen was getting landing that overhand over and over again. Dave Allen was being able to land the uppercut over and over again. but at different points of the fight, there was no follow up. When he landed one uppercut, there was no follow up. There was no keeping Makmudov there. It was the same with the overhand. He landed it. He was constantly landing it, but when he did, it was just single stuff. There was no keeping him there, apart from in that ninth round. But Makmudov was still able to go on and kind of punch himself out a bit. If we're talking about Arsenal Makmudov versus Anthony Joshua now, I think Anthony Joshua, even washed up Anthony Joshua, I think blows Arsenal Makmudov out of there in 5 rounds. And it's nothing against Makmudov. I think he seems like a good guy. He showed that in the build-up in the Dave Allen fight week. But I think Anthony Joshua would absolutely blow him out of there. Makmudov's way too slow. He's very slow. Doesn't have the same advantages over AJ that he had over Dave Allen. AJ's probably the most explosive guy that Makmudov probably would face to date. And AJ takes away Makmudov's best attributes, I think Makmudov, 6'8", AJ 6'6", Dave Allen was 6'2". He's fought a lot of guys smaller stature than him, Makmudov. I mean, even Caballero battered him, but I'm just saying, smaller stature guys, Carlos Takam, Dave Allen, smaller stature guys, Villanello. Joshua, he doesn't have those advantages over Anthony Joshua. Makmudov doesn't have those advantages over him. AJ's got reach, he's got the speed, he's got the power, he's operated at a higher level. Makmudov hasn't knocked out a world level guy. Joshua's knocked out many world level guys in his whole career. AJ's got just most things over Arsenal about Makmudov, or at least matches him at genetically gifted wise. Joshua matches him a lot. And I think it's a mismatch. I think it's an absolute mismatch. Makmudov just doesn't move his head at all. If Dave Allen is landing those kind of shots on you, that overhand, that uppercut, Joshua's a lethal puncher. Hits way harder than Dave Allen. People might say, oh, he hasn't got the chin that Dave Allen has, but I don't think Joshua gets hit with some of the shots that Dave Allen got hit with. I don't think Joshua gives Makmudov the opportunities that Dave Allen gave him. Joshua's not going to be there for Makmudov to outbox. In my opinion, it's impossible for Makmudov to outbox Joshua. He was able to outbox Dave Allen because of the height, the reach. It was kind of the similar thing with like the Carlos Takam fight. But I think Joshua absolutely smashes Arsenal Makmudov. But yeah, there we go.